Well, I think if we go back to, for us, you know, when we were looking at, we we wanted our ambitions. First of all, what was that? You know, what's your ambitions? What's our ambitions? Our ambitions were far greater than anything we kind of seen from our family and friends and anybody around about us and the environment that we're in, which is so important. So we went and seeked out, you know, and we wanted to learn, educate ourselves, and seek out mentors or coaches or business people that had been there and done that massively. Not just a wee bit of success, a wee bit of success locally or a wee bit of success in their family business, but had done outstanding and made big business and made waves, if you like, throughout the world. So when we wanted to educate ourselves, but it was never just about the education.
It was always about, and this is what rung true for me when I was speaking to someone the other day, was what we actually learn, we put into practice.
Yeah.
And we always, you know, any time we went to seminars and things, we always went back and put that into practice. And we always reflected on what did we learn and how much have we improved since attending, you know, a seminar, a training event, blah, blah, blah.
Well, it still happens now. I mean, we do as much now. We spend more money than we've ever done
Of course we
on
do.
ourselves. We travel the world, going and meeting people and learning and looking at different opportunities. All we've done is we take it back to when we first started out and always spending more money than we had, traveling to places that we'd never been to before and committing to learning. But more importantly, once we learned it, what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to be the smartest people in the room? Are we going to be seminar junkies?
Putting it into practice.
Yeah.
And as you say, meeting people that are doing it better than what we are, just so that we could, you know, leverage ourselves up to that where we wanted to be. So meeting people where we want to be.
Yeah, where we want and what happens is, and what's happened for us is, that just keeps getting bigger.
I know.
So it never stops. The expense gets bigger, the time gets more, but that is beautiful. So it's a lifelong commitment that we made to learning, to committing to it financially for us and for our family, for travelling, to searching the world for the best people that work for us. But ultimately, it's up to us to be successful for us. So, but it's taking that firm action and taking the risks that's involved. And most people, it's beyond their level of comprehension. And they want to be successful, but they want to sit in the pub, or they want to sit, you know, chilling, or they want to go to, you know, just hang around and take it easy. You know what I mean? You're never going to get to we're never going to get where we're wanting to go by chilling or just staying in a comfy environment, staying in a security zone, safety zone. We are out there taking risks every single day, and it's a hostile environment, and you've got to be able to. You're at war every day. You've got to be able to cope with that.
And I think you're right, you touched on environment there as well. We have travelled the world, and it has opened our eyes to completely different and better environments time and time again, you know, and we've moved our environment and moved our families to make that environment better. We kind of jumped early, didn't we? We kind of started early.
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I started my first business in 2000, 1999.
All right, we're going back to that.
I had multiple failed businesses, and I couldn't really work out for it. Work out the reason why, you know, I just didn't know enough. Simply did not know enough about finance, the world of finance, debt, taxes, leverage, you know, all things that are just simple now. Back in the day, I had no clue when I left school about any of that stuff. So but I knew I didn't want to work for anybody. And I knew that I had fierce ambition to do as the best I could possibly do. And to do that, I had to start my own business, do something risky, right? Do something that's I want it to be, I am the change in my family tree. You know, I am that person that's changed my family tree in terms of wealth, entrepreneurship, business. We were, I wouldn't even say middle class family. Well, we weren't bottom, but we weren't far from it. You know, but we were happy and a great childhood, great growing up, great, you know, great family thing. So I had a really happy childhood. but we really had nothing. And I think for me, looking at it and the advice I was getting from my family and my friends and everybody who love you, that want you to be safe and secure and they don't want to lose you. Ultimately, the advice we were getting was very much,
Stay small.
stay small, stay safe, don't take too many risks. It'll come back and bite you. I've always had the opposite view of that.
And that's why we always go for advice
Yeah.
elsewhere. We don't, we always take advice from people that are doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
Or better.
Yeah.
You know.
Or we're going to seek out, we're going, but it's not about just going to, it's not about seminars, it's not about podcasts.
No, I'm talking about like we surround ourselves with good lawyers, good finance people, people that are in the sector that we want to be in or the space that we want to be in, and doing extremely well at it. So that we don't just settle for second best, or we don't just go for a lawyer because it's a lawyer. We make sure that they're the best in the field that we're looking for.
Yeah, I think you go back to back to the seminars, the books, the conferences, the courses, all YouTube videos, all the stuff that's there available now. Why do people still, people are there are so many people that are a lot smarter, but don't do anything. And one of the things that we are, which is when you're taking that jump, and you're the pioneer, and you're the person that's going to put yourself out there, and you've got a big target on your back, and every day somebody's trying to fire a bow and arrow into your back. That's what we are for our family. Somebody's got to change it. Somebody's got to change the way, and it's lonely, and it's sore, and it's painful, and you've got to have big shoulders. You've got to be resilient when, because when the shit hits the fan, because the shit will hit the fan, things will go wrong, things won't work out. The most ridiculous things that should not be ridiculous become ridiculous. I mean, it's incredible the things that can happen. How something so good in certain circumstances can end up in such a pickle. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, how did that happen? But that's the world of business and entrepreneurism, and it's tough out there. And no seminar, none, or book or course can prepare you for that, the battles that are there, being a business owner and being right in the in the war fields. Yeah, in the war fields every day. Nothing can prepare you for that. And I suppose that's one of the biggest things that we've got in terms of our strength, is that we have been through, over the years, it's, a hell of a lot of adversity, and that shapes you. A lot of people can't come back or can't cope with it. But it's one of the things that we have got is resilience, determination, focus. We've got a good team, that support us and know the true us. And we don't let then, what happens, because you lose people as you grow, and you grow at the speed that we are growing, and you get to the level we're growing at. You lose people, family, friends, colleagues, associates, work people you used to work with years ago, and work people you work with. You lose them because you're growing at this pace and at that speed, and they're quite happy at that speed. It doesn't work. So whether it's your advisors, people that you work with, your team,
advisors, we're always renewing advisors.
You're upgrading. You have to upgrade, because that advice there, or the people that were good
it's
there,
no longer relevant to get to there.
When you're up at that level. So that never stops. What did we learn? Nothing is forever.
No.
Nothing's permanent. Just because you have, financial freedom or cash flow, which people go on about a lot, just because you get it does not mean it's permanent.
No.
You can't just give up on it. You wait and see. You wait and see what happens. You've got to keep going. So when you enter this game of business, big business, I mean, small business, you get to a certain point, you're happy with what you've got, and, it's your life. But when you're entering the field of big business that we operate in, and we want to operate in, never at any point can you stop.
No.
You must continue and you want to continue because you love it.
Well, it's like you love it. I mean, every day. I mean, we don't get up every day and go, oh, we've got to go to work. We get up and we've got a plan. We spring into action, and we got on with it. We know what we're focused on, what we need to do, and where we need to get to.
And that, I mean, and it comes into its own when you're under huge stress. And huge stress for most people, they just can't cope with it. Whereas for us, I'm not saying we need it, but it's something that we are used to operating under. Huge stress.
A little bit of pressure, we always say impending events, pressure.
Timescales.
It makes timescales, it makes you work better, smarter even, because it gets you to get the, we always say we get the flip chart out and we get stuff done, but it makes us operate to get stuff done.
We want to get it done, yeah. So pressures of time and that are important, but most people, if we look back when we really started in terms of going to the seminars and over to Arizona and all that stuff, most people have done nothing.
Yep. Or went backwards.
People, they've jumped from the one hot topic to the next hot topic to the next hot topic, and they've had no focus. Their grass is always greener, and as soon as they get a wee bit of pressure, they buckle, and they go hiding under the covers. Now, don't get me wrong, I've wanted to hide under the covers a few times.
Won't let you.
No. We wanted just to hide and disappear in certain moments through our journey. But when you get up and you face it and you turn up every day, you've got to be there every day. There's no hiding place for us. And we've worked with, hundreds and hundreds of different people. And you see the different characteristics, and people wonder why they are where they are. Because they either become, they believe, more important than the business, more important than the plan, than the structure from a personal point of view. So there's an ego thing there. Or they try and, the chancellor mitt, if you like, on it's a power trip. Or you simply just can't handle it when the pressure gets on. You've got to deliver. Or people that work for big companies and stuff come and work for an outfit, like us, where there are huge demands on you because we've got huge demands on ourselves. It's a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour operation, and we expect that. And a lot of people have fallen by the wayside with us, and we just don't look back the way on it.
No.
It's don't let the door hit you on the arse on the way out.
Noise, if there's noise around about, and they get caught up in the drama, etc., and they get left behind as well.
So most people look at business and ownership and entrepreneurship from an intellectual point of view. And there's a lot more smarter people than us.
Yep.
There's no doubt about that. Intellectually, guys that are cleverer, that just get things quicker than us.
But they maybe don't have the emotional intelligence.
What they struggle with, and what I've seen, and again, go back to, is one of our strengths that we've learned, is that entrepreneurship isn't really about the intellectual side of it. Because you have people, you can employ people to do that for you. It's about the emotional side of it. And that intellectual, that emotional intelligence is absolutely fundamental. Yet, in most business courses, podcasts, books, anything like that, they don't talk about that. No, it's underestimated. So my view, the reason that 90+% of people that go to these seminars worldwide do nothing with it is because of the emotional intelligence part. They get it. They understand it. We've got a guy, and we think, one of the guys that we know, dear pal of mine, miles smarter than me, can research anything in a heartbeat.
Lives and breathes anything that he's researching.
Yes, absolute knowledge of anything he puts his mind to. Can't make a penny.
No.
He cannot make a penny. And even he cannot get it emotionally. He thinks he can, and he's pretty tough. But the bottom line is, struggles with it emotionally because he will talk himself out of things more than taking the gamble and the risk to go for it for the long run. The problems, when you're looking at something, there are more problems than opportunities. And all we're seeing is abundance and opportunity.
Yep.
And we say we need to go for that. That's a no-brainer.
And if there's a problem, how do we solve it? How do we get around it?
Yeah.
How do, over it, under it?
Yeah.
How do we, how do we make it work? It's not...
Exactly. When you leave the house, the traffic, all the traffic lights are at green.
No.
Traffic lights are, there's mixed bag. So you've got, you deal with it as you go through it.
Of course you do.
But a lot of people, I'm not saying most people, a lot of people want all the lights to be at green right before they'll do it. So they spreadsheet it, they worry about it, they make shit up in their mind. They go through all that process and so fucking never start. So we're saying, okay, we're the opposite. We're going to go for it. If the opposite, because I can see the end in the big picture.
You don't
And
care
other
how many
stuff in
times you get
between.
stopped at a traffic light
We'll just
to
need to
get
deal
there.
with that. We just need to deal with that. And we don't have all the answers, but we'll figure it out as we get going, as we go. And that's experience, that's track record and having a good team of people that'll help you do that. There's not a lot of books or anything that can prepare you for when you're in the trenches in business. And it is a blood sport. It's war. You're at war every day. It's a blood sport. So you're going to get things are going to happen to either you're going to get criticism, you're going to get slated, even in the certainly with the days of social media and all that stuff. How do you handle it? How can you cope with getting negative comments or negative, just negativity in general? How are you going to cope with that? And it's very difficult to second guess yourself on that. Yeah. You don't know it really
until
how you're
going
to
to
react
it. Until it happens.
Until it happens, yeah. So that piece of it, and it's the most underestimated part, I believe, in terms of being an entrepreneur, because you have to. It's war every single day, and you've got to be able to have a plan. You've got to have a team. You've got to be there, at war. Who's looking after you? Who's on your team? Who's standing beside you when the shit hits the fan? When the going gets tough? When things are getting out of control, and things are going, there's an overwhelming, you're in the war zone. You're in the trenches. Who's standing beside you when gunfire is getting, whizzing over your head, left, right, and centre? Who's there? And that sorts the men out from the boys or the women, for the ladies, for the girls. That's what, for me, so being in that war zone and having troubled times, actually, when you look at it over the long term, of course you're going to get it. And what it does is it's a chance to clear the decks. Because who was with you in that moment? Who protected you? If I'm shot, who's going to pick up the mantle and run and keep going on behalf of the company and the plan and the strategy and all that? Who's doing that? And a lot of people, when they go into entrepreneurship, they want to be a small business owner, self-employed. It's I want to tell my boss to shove his job. I hate my boss. I can earn more money working for myself. Most people do that. But when you're operating big business and you're relying heavily, ultimately, completely on people and systems, you need to, that's tough. That's the toughest position, but the rewards are the greatest as well. So you have to be able to, and your team need to be with you at war. If you look at Elon Musk, when he's trying to change the world, he's trying to change the planet, he's trying to save humanity. I mean, he's got to get a team of people,
on the same mission and capable of doing it with him.
And it never stops. Some people fail. He said that you look at the SpaceX stuff, where they had failed launches, and then you get rid of one or two of the top guys and bring new people in, and it was. But I
like that about him though, because he identifies quickly.
He does.
He needs to make that change, and he implements it really, really quickly. I do like that.
And that's one of the things that for us, what's the lesson? We are very loyal people, but we're loyal. We have been guilty. I've been guilty of being loyal to the person and no loyal to the result.
Yep.
Going forward, we will absolutely be loyal to the result.
I think
rather
you're
than
worse.
the person.
You're worse.
I'm a softie. I'm a big softie. I can't help it.
And I've obviously done no bad at running towards the gunfire because I've kept me for 20 years.